This video aims to provide a comprehensive understanding of the diplomatic relations between India and Bangladesh, covering all the key aspects. In this in-depth research video, we don't focus on who is superior or who wins. Instead, we explore the concepts from both the Indian and Bangladeshi perspectives. Consider this video a guide to better understanding these two nations and their unique relationship. If you enjoy the video, please support the channel by liking and subscribing to Alper Alyaz's YouTube channel. Your support means a lot. Historical background through intersecting paths of India and Bangladesh. The roots of India and Bangladesh stretch far back into ancient times, where this region was home to some of Asia's oldest civilizations. The Bengal region was, for centuries, an integral part of the Indian subcontinent. In ancient times, Bengal was under the rule of great empires like the Maurya and Gupta empires, and it was a key center for both culture and trade. Over the centuries, Buddhism, Hinduism, and later Islam left deep imprints on the region. The name Bangladesh comes from Banga, referring to the people of Bengal, and Desh, meaning country. Therefore, Bangladesh means the country of Bengal. The name India, on the other hand, is derived from the Indus River. However, the people of India refer to their land as Bharat, a name rooted in Hindu mythology, derived from an ancient king. Today, the Indian government is moving towards making this name official. Moving into modern history, the Bengal region became one of the most contested territories between India and Pakistan. When India gained independence from Britain in 1947, the country was partitioned along religious and ethnic lines. Bengal was also divided. The western part of Bengal, with a Hindu majority, joined India and became the state of West Bengal. With its capital in Kolkata, West Bengal remained one of India's cultural and intellectual hubs. Eastern Bengal, on the other hand, with its Muslim majority, became East Pakistan, part of Pakistan. However, the vast distance between East and West Pakistan, along with cultural and economic differences, quickly led to growing tensions. The people of East Pakistan, particularly due to issues like language, Bengali, and economic inequality, felt increasingly marginalized. These tensions eventually escalated into Bangladesh's war for independence in 1971. India supported Bangladesh militarily during this struggle, and ultimately, Bangladesh declared its independence from Pakistan. Today, India and Bangladesh exist as two separate nations. However, the partition of Bengal did not erase the deep historical connections and shared cultural heritage of these two peoples. Language, culture, and history continue to bind them together. Despite their differences, the two nations retain a strong bond of brotherhood, deeply rooted in their shared past. Geography and natural resources, the lands of India and Bangladesh. India and Bangladesh, though neighbors, are geographically distinct in many ways. India is vast, spanning over 3.2 million square kilometers, making it the seventh largest country in the world. Its landscape is incredibly diverse, ranging from the towering Himalayan mountains in the north to the fertile plains of the Ganges River, the vast Thar Desert, and the tropical coastlines in the south. This vast landmass also holds a wide array of climates, from alpine conditions in the north to tropical monsoons in the south. Bangladesh, in contrast, is much smaller, covering approximately 147,000 square kilometers, yet it is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. The country is predominantly low-lying and dominated by the Ganges-Brahmaputra Delta, the largest river delta on the planet. This deltaic region makes Bangladesh particularly prone to flooding, especially during the monsoon season, and its geography is deeply intertwined with the rivers that flow through it. Water is the lifeblood of both countries, but in different ways. In India, the Ganges and Brahmaputra rivers are vital for agriculture, industry, and religious practices. Bangladesh, being downstream, relies heavily on these rivers for its own agricultural productivity, but also faces challenges from flooding and river erosion. In fact, about 80% of Bangladesh consists of floodplains, and its agricultural economy is deeply dependent on the water flowing from India. In terms of natural resources, India is rich in a variety of minerals, including coal, iron ore, and bauxite. It also has significant oil and natural gas reserves, as well as vast agricultural lands that produce everything from rice and wheat to spices and tea. India's natural diversity extends to its forests, which cover about 24% of the country's land, housing a wide range of wildlife, including tigers, elephants, and leopards. Bangladesh, though smaller in size, is also rich in natural resources, particularly in its fertile soil, which supports a robust agricultural sector. Rice, jute, and tea are the country's main crops. However, Bangladesh is more vulnerable to climate change, with rising sea levels threatening its low-lying coastal areas. Despite these challenges, Bangladesh has made strides in harnessing natural gas, one of its key energy resources, which supports its growing industrial sector. In summary, while India and Bangladesh share the Ganges and Brahmaputra rivers as vital lifelines, their geographical diversity sets them apart. India's vast and varied landscape contrasts sharply with Bangladesh's dense, river-dominated geography, but both nations rely heavily on their natural resources to fuel their economies and sustain their populations. Economy. Comparing the economic giants of South Asia. India and Bangladesh, while neighboring countries, have economies that are structured quite differently. India, with its population of over 1.4 billion, is one of the world's largest economies, boasting a GDP of over $3.7 trillion. It is a diverse economy with major sectors in agriculture, manufacturing, and services, particularly in information technology. The IT industry, led by global giants like Tata Consultancy Services and Infosys, has placed India as a global leader in software development and tech services. India's economy also benefits from a large domestic market, foreign investments, and a rapidly growing middle class. Bangladesh, with a population of approximately 170 million, has a significantly smaller economy, but has been one of the fastest growing in the region over the past decade. Its GDP is around $460 billion, driven primarily by the textile and garment industry. Bangladesh is the second largest garment exporter in the world, only behind China, and this sector employs millions of workers, particularly women. The country has made impressive strides in poverty reduction and economic development, largely due to its export-driven economy. In agriculture, both countries share similarities, with rice being the staple crop. However, India's agricultural sector is more diversified, producing wheat, pulses, and a variety of spices. India is also one of the world's largest producers of tea, and its vast agricultural output supports both domestic consumption and exports. Bangladesh, on the other hand, is highly reliant on rice and jute production. While its agricultural sector is essential for feeding its large population, it is also vulnerable to climate-related disruptions like floods and cyclones. When it comes to exports, India's economy is multifaceted, with major exports including IT services, pharmaceuticals, machinery, and textiles. India is known for being the pharmacy of the world due to its massive pharmaceutical manufacturing industry. Bangladesh, in contrast, is highly concentrated in the garment sector, which accounts for about 80% of its total exports. The country has been able to leverage its low labor costs to attract multinational corporations to set up garment factories, making it a global hub for clothing manufacturing. Despite these differences, both countries face similar economic challenges. India, despite its size, struggles with high levels of poverty, income inequality, and unemployment. Corruption and bureaucratic hurdles also hinder growth in some sectors. Bangladesh, while progressing rapidly, deals with challenges related to infrastructure, access to electricity, and climate change risks, particularly rising sea levels and flooding. In conclusion, while India stands as an economic giant with a broad-based economy, Bangladesh has carved out a niche for itself as a textile powerhouse with rapid growth. Both countries rely on agriculture and exports, but their paths to economic success reflect their unique strengths and challenges. Population and demographics, a tale of two crowded nations. India and Bangladesh are two of the most densely populated countries in the world, but their demographics differ significantly due to their size, population distribution, and cultural diversity. India, with a population exceeding 1.4 billion, is the second most populous country globally. The sheer size of India means that it contains an immense diversity of ethnicities, languages, and religions. India is often described as a subcontinent due to this vast cultural and demographic variety. There are over 2,000 distinct ethnic groups in India, and it officially recognizes 22 languages with hundreds of dialects spoken across its regions. Hindi is the most widely spoken language, but states like Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and Kerala have their own dominant languages, such as Tamil, Bengali, and Malayalam. Bangladesh, by comparison, is much smaller, both in land area and population, yet it is one of the most densely populated countries in the world, with over 170 million people packed into just 147,000 square kilometers. Unlike India, Bangladesh is more homogeneous, with the vast majority of its population identifying as ethnically Bengali. Bengali is the official and most widely spoken language, and Islam is the dominant religion, practiced by about 90% of the population. Both countries have a youthful population. In India, around 65% of the population is under the age of 35, making it one of the youngest populations in the world. This demographic advantage, known as the demographic dividend, presents India with significant potential for economic growth, provided that education and employment opportunities can keep pace with the growing youth population. Bangladesh also has a youthful population, with nearly 34% of its people under the age of 15. This young demographic presents both opportunities and challenges, particularly in terms of education and job creation. Urbanization is another key factor shaping the demographics of both countries. India is rapidly urbanizing, with major cities like Mumbai, Delhi, and Bengaluru becoming economic and cultural hubs. However, nearly 65% of India's population still lives in rural areas, and the urban-rural divide is a significant issue in terms of access to healthcare, education, and employment opportunities. Bangladesh, though much smaller, has experienced a rapid increase in urbanization, particularly in its capital, Dhaka, which has grown into a megacity with over 20 million people. However, like India, a large portion of Bangladesh's population still lives in rural areas, relying heavily on agriculture. Both countries face demographic challenges. In India, managing such a large and diverse population requires balancing the needs of different regions, languages, and communities. Bangladesh, meanwhile, faces issues related to overpopulation and limited space, which strains its infrastructure and resources. In summary, while India and Bangladesh are both densely populated nations with young, growing populations, India's vast diversity contrasts sharply with Bangladesh's relative homogeneity. Yet, both countries are grappling with the challenges and opportunities that come with a rapidly changing demographic landscape. Culture and language, the shared heritage and unique identities of India and Bangladesh. India and Bangladesh, despite being separate nations today, share deep cultural and linguistic ties that trace back centuries. However, both countries have developed their own unique cultural identities shaped by their histories, religions, and languages. In India, culture is incredibly diverse and multifaceted. It is a land where hundreds of different cultures coexist, with each region having its own traditions, languages, and festivals. Hinduism, the dominant religion, has a profound influence on Indian culture, but other religions such as Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, and Buddhism also play significant roles. Festivals like Diwali, Holi, Eid, and Christmas are celebrated across the country, each reflecting the country's religious diversity. Indian music, dance, and art are similarly varied, ranging from classical forms like Bharatanatyam and Kathak to contemporary Bollywood music and cinema, which has gained global popularity. In Bangladesh, the culture is more homogeneous, with Bengali traditions dominating. The culture of Bangladesh is deeply rooted in Bengali language and literature, with figures like Rabindranath Tagore and Qazi Nazrul Islam being celebrated across the country. Bengali New Year, Pohela Boishakh, is one of the most important cultural festivals, marking the start of the Bengali calendar year with colorful parades, traditional music, and food. Islam is the dominant religion, and Islamic festivals like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha are widely celebrated, but Bengali culture remains the core of national identity, blending Islamic values with traditional Bengali customs. Language plays a central role in the identity of both nations. Bengali is the official language of Bangladesh, spoken by the vast majority of the population. It's more than just a means of communication. It's a symbol of the country's independence and pride, especially considering that the Bengali language movement of 1952 was one of the key drivers of Bangladesh's eventual independence from Pakistan. This movement emphasized the right of the people to speak their own language, a right that was denied under Pakistani rule. India, by contrast, is a country of linguistic diversity. The Indian constitution recognizes 22 official languages, and over 1,600 dialects are spoken across the country. Hindi is the most widely spoken language and serves as the primary language in many parts of northern India. However, in states like Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, and Maharashtra, regional languages like Tamil, Bengali, and Marathi dominate. Let's review an example audio script together for the top 3 most spoken languages in India: Hindi, Bengali, and Marathi.
यह अल्पर अलियास के YouTube चैनल के लिए एक परीक्षण पाठ है। हमारा उद्देश्य विभिन्न भाषाओं में इस पाठ को सुनकर भाषाओं के बारे में सीखना है।
এটি আলপার আলিয়াজ এর ইউটিউব চ্যানেলের জন্য একটি পরীক্ষামূলক পাঠ্য। আমরা বিভিন্ন ভাষায় এই লেখাটি শুনে ভাষা সম্পর্কে জানার লক্ষ্য রাখি।
हा अल्पर आल्याजच्या YouTube चॅनेलसाठी चाचणी मजकूर आहे। हा मजकूर वेगवेगळ्या भाषांमध्ये ऐकून भाषांबद्दल जाणून घेण्याचे आमचे ध्येय आहे.
English also plays an important role, particularly in business, education and government, making India one of the largest English-speaking countries in the world. Both nations are also home to rich literary traditions. In India, ancient texts like the Mahabharata and Ramayana continue to influence Indian society and culture, while contemporary authors like Salman Rushdie and Arundhati Roy have brought Indian literature to the global stage. In Bangladesh, Bengali literature has a special place, with works of poetry, novels, and plays forming the backbone of the country's cultural heritage. In summary, while India's cultural and linguistic diversity stands in stark contrast to Bangladesh's more unified cultural identity, both nations celebrate their rich heritage. Their shared history as part of the larger Bengal region still resonates today, particularly through the Bengali language and literary traditions, which bind them together in many ways. Sports, the passion for cricket and other games in India and Bangladesh. When it comes to sports, India and Bangladesh share a common passion: cricket. For both countries, cricket is more than just a game. It is a national obsession, a source of pride, and a way to unite people across regions, languages, and social classes. In India, cricket is by far the most popular sport, often referred to as a religion in itself. The country has a rich cricketing history and is home to some of the sport's greatest legends like Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, and Kapil Dev. India's success on the global stage, including winning the Cricket World Cup twice, has only fueled the nation's love for the sport. The Indian Premier League, IPL, a professional 2020 cricket league, has also become one of the biggest sporting events in the world, attracting top international players and massive audiences both in India and globally. In Bangladesh, cricket also holds a special place in the hearts of its people. Although Bangladesh's national cricket team is relatively new to the international scene, having gained Test status in 2000, the team has quickly grown in strength and reputation. Players like Shakib Al Hasan and Tamim Iqbal are national heroes, and victories over top teams like India, Pakistan and Australia are celebrated with immense pride. The Bangladesh Premier League, BPL, has also gained popularity, providing a platform for domestic and international players to showcase their talent. While cricket dominates the sporting landscape in both countries, there are other sports that hold significance as well. In India, field hockey was once the country's most prominent sport, with India winning multiple Olympic gold medals in the 20th century. Today, while hockey remains popular, it has been somewhat overshadowed by cricket. Football, soccer, also has a large following, particularly in states like West Bengal, Kerala, and Goa, with the Indian Super League, ISL, helping to elevate the sport's profile. In addition, India has produced world-class athletes in sports like badminton, PV Sindhu, wrestling, Sushil Kumar, and tennis, Leander Paes, showing the country's growing prowess in diverse fields of sports. In Bangladesh, football, soccer, is the second most popular sport, especially at the grassroots level. Although the national football team has not reached the same level of success as the cricket team, the sport remains widely played across the country, particularly in rural areas. Traditional sports like Kabaddi, the national sport of Bangladesh, also hold cultural significance. Bangladesh has been one of the leading teams in international Kabaddi competitions, and the sport is deeply rooted in the country's rural traditions. Rivalries between India and Bangladesh, particularly in cricket, have become an exciting and much anticipated event for fans on both sides. When these two teams face off, it's more than just a game. It's a contest of pride and passion, reflecting the deep love for the sport in both nations. In conclusion, while cricket reigns supreme in both India and Bangladesh, other sports like football and kabaddi also play important roles in their sporting cultures. The passion for cricket, however, stands out as a unifying force, bringing people together in celebration of their national teams, whether in victory or defeat. International relations, the complex, yet collaborative ties between India and Bangladesh. India and Bangladesh share a long and intertwined history, not just as neighbors, but as countries that were once part of the same political entity. Since Bangladesh's independence in 1971, the relationship between the two countries has evolved through phases of cooperation and occasional tension. Today, India and Bangladesh maintain strong diplomatic, economic, and cultural ties, though some challenges remain. One of the most significant moments in their bilateral relationship occurred during Bangladesh's War of Independence in 1971. India played a crucial role in supporting Bangladesh's struggle for independence from Pakistan, providing military assistance and sheltering millions of Bangladeshi refugees during the conflict. This cemented a bond of gratitude between the two nations, and India was one of the first countries to officially recognize Bangladesh as an independent state. However, in the decades that followed, relations between India and Bangladesh have been marked by periods of tension, particularly over issues related to border disputes, water sharing, and trade imbalances. The two countries share a 4,096-kilometer-long border, making it one of the longest borders in the world. Disputes over illegal immigration, cross-border smuggling, and the management of border areas have at times strained their relationship. Another key point of contention is the sharing of river waters, particularly the Ganges and the Teesta rivers. Since both countries rely heavily on these rivers for agriculture and daily life, managing water resources has been a sensitive issue. While the Ganges Water Treaty was signed in 1996 to address some of these concerns, the Teesta River dispute remains unresolved, with Bangladesh seeking a fairer distribution of water. Despite these challenges, both nations have made significant strides in strengthening their ties. In recent years, India and Bangladesh have deepened their cooperation in areas such as trade, infrastructure development, and counter-terrorism efforts. India is one of Bangladesh's largest trading partners, and the two countries have worked together on projects such as improving road, rail, and energy connectivity. The building of bridges and highways that link northeastern India to Bangladesh has helped enhance economic exchanges and people-to-people connections. Culturally, both countries share a rich heritage, particularly in the Bengal region, where language, literature, and art transcend national boundaries. The two nations also collaborate on a number of regional and international forums, including the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC, and the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, BIMSTEC. In recent years, climate change has emerged as a critical area of cooperation. Both India and Bangladesh face significant risks from rising sea levels, floods, and other environmental challenges. As neighbors with shared ecological concerns, they have begun to work together on climate resilience initiatives and disaster management strategies. In conclusion, while India and Bangladesh share a complex history, their relationship today is characterized by both collaboration and ongoing challenges. Border issues and water-sharing disputes continue to pose obstacles, but the two countries remain committed to building a stronger partnership, recognizing the importance of cooperation in addressing common economic and environmental concerns. Technology and science, innovation and progress in India and Bangladesh. When it comes to technology and science, India and Bangladesh have followed distinct paths, each making significant strides in their respective areas of expertise. Both countries recognize that scientific progress and technological innovation are critical for their continued economic growth and global competitiveness. India has established itself as a major player on the global stage, particularly in the fields of information technology, space exploration, and pharmaceuticals. India's IT sector is world-renowned, with cities like Bengaluru and Hyderabad serving as major tech hubs. Companies like Tata Consultancy Services, TCS, Infosys, and Wipro are some of the biggest global players in IT services. India is also home to a growing startup ecosystem, with innovations in fields such as artificial intelligence, fintech, and e-commerce. One of India's most celebrated scientific achievements is the success of its space program, managed by the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO. India has launched a series of landmark missions, including the Mars Orbiter mission, Mangalyaan, which made India the first Asian country to reach Mars orbit and only the fourth space agency in the world to do so. ISRO continues to work on ambitious projects, including future moon landings and collaborative satellite missions with other countries. India's pharmaceutical industry is another area where the country has made its mark. Often referred to as the pharmacy of the world, India is one of the largest producers of generic drugs, providing affordable medicines to countries across the globe. The country's role in developing and distributing vaccines, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, further cemented its reputation as a leader in global healthcare. Bangladesh, while smaller in scale, has also made notable advancements in technology, particularly in sectors like textiles, telecommunications, and renewable energy. Bangladesh's telecommunications industry has seen rapid growth, with mobile phone penetration rates soaring in recent years. The country is making strides in digital infrastructure, and its government has launched the Digital Bangladesh initiative, aimed at increasing internet access and fostering a more tech-driven economy. Bangladesh is also focusing on renewable energy. With a high vulnerability to climate change, the country has become a leader in solar energy in South Asia. The government has been promoting solar home systems, SHS, across rural areas, bringing electricity to millions of people in remote locations. This shift towards cleaner energy sources is a critical step for a country facing rising sea levels and frequent flooding. In terms of science and research, Bangladesh is investing in sectors such as biotechnology and agricultural science to boost productivity and resilience in its agricultural sector. The country's textile industry, which forms the backbone of its economy, is also exploring innovations in sustainable fashion and environmentally friendly production methods to remain competitive in the global market. Both India and Bangladesh are leveraging technology to solve social issues as well. In India, advancements in mobile technology and digital payment systems like UPI, Unified Payments Interface, have revolutionized financial inclusion, allowing millions of people to access banking services for the first time. In Bangladesh, mobile banking services like bKash have transformed the financial landscape, particularly in rural areas, providing people with easy access to money transfers and savings. In conclusion, while India stands out with its achievements in IT, space, and pharmaceuticals, Bangladesh is making rapid progress in areas like digital infrastructure and renewable energy. Both countries are using science and technology to drive economic growth and improve the lives of their citizens, proving that innovation is a key component of their future success. Environmental issues: facing the challenges of climate change in India and Bangladesh. India and Bangladesh, as neighboring South Asian countries, share a deep connection to their natural environments. However, both nations face significant environmental challenges, primarily due to climate change, population growth, and industrialization. These challenges not only threaten their ecosystems, but also have profound economic and social impacts. India, with its vast geography, experiences a wide range of environmental issues. One of the most pressing concerns is air pollution, particularly in major cities like Delhi, which regularly ranks among the most polluted cities in the world. The rapid industrialization, combined with vehicular emissions and the burning of crop stubble, has contributed to hazardous air quality levels, affecting millions of people. India's efforts to combat air pollution include promoting electric vehicles, stricter regulations on industrial emissions, and pushing for renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. India is also highly vulnerable to water scarcity. With a rapidly growing population and increasing demand for water, many regions in India face severe shortages. Over-extraction of groundwater and pollution of rivers like the Ganges have made access to clean water a critical issue. The government has launched initiatives like the Clean Ganga project to restore the health of the country's rivers and improve water management practices, but the challenges remain immense. Bangladesh, being a low-lying country with a high population density, faces different but equally severe environmental challenges. The most urgent threat is climate change, particularly the rising sea levels that threaten to submerge large parts of the country. Bangladesh is one of the most climate-vulnerable countries in the world, with millions of people at risk of displacement due to coastal flooding and riverbank erosion. The Ganges-Brahmaputra Delta, which sustains much of the country's agriculture, is highly susceptible to flooding during the monsoon season, leading to crop destruction and food insecurity. To combat these challenges, Bangladesh has become a global leader in climate resilience. The country has implemented innovative solutions such as floating farms, which allow farmers to grow crops on water during flood seasons, and community-based disaster preparedness programs to minimize the impact of natural disasters. Additionally, Bangladesh's focus on renewable energy, particularly solar power, has helped bring electricity to rural communities while reducing dependence on fossil fuels. Both countries are working to address the impacts of deforestation, which threatens biodiversity and contributes to soil erosion. In India, efforts have been made to increase forest cover through large-scale tree planting initiatives, while Bangladesh has prioritized protecting its mangrove forests, particularly the Sundarbans, the largest mangrove forest in the world, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Sundarbans not only provide critical protection against cyclones and tidal surges, but also serve as a habitat for endangered species like the Bengal tiger. Water sharing between India and Bangladesh has also been a sensitive environmental issue. Rivers like the Ganges and Teesta flow from India into Bangladesh, and the management of these shared resources has been a point of contention for decades. Both countries depend on these rivers for agriculture and daily life, but disagreements over water allocation have led to periodic tensions. Ongoing negotiations aim to find equitable solutions that will benefit both nations, particularly in the face of changing climate patterns. In conclusion, while India and Bangladesh face distinct environmental challenges, they are united by their vulnerability to climate change. Both countries are taking steps to mitigate the effects of environmental degradation and build a more sustainable future. From combating air pollution and water scarcity in India to addressing rising sea levels and natural disasters in Bangladesh, these two nations must continue to work together to protect their shared environment and ensure a better future for their people. Future relations and regional cooperation. A shared destiny. As one of the largest and most populous countries in the world, India stands as a rising regional and even global power. With a GDP exceeding $3.7 trillion and growing influence in technology, space, and geopolitics, India is positioning itself as a key player on the world stage. But to solidify this role, India's first real test may lie closer to home, in how it shapes its relationship with its immediate neighbors, particularly Bangladesh. The two nations, despite their differences in religion, share the same ethnic roots, a common history, and cultural ties that go back centuries. This creates a unique opportunity for both countries to strengthen their bond, recognizing that they are in many ways mutually dependent. India, in its quest for regional dominance, will find it difficult to achieve this goal without ensuring stability and cooperation with its eastern neighbor. With the rise of China as a dominant force in Asia, India faces increasing pressure to assert its influence in the region. China's growing economic, military, and political presence poses a potential threat to the balance of power, and India is keenly aware of this. In such a context, having a stable, friendly ally like Bangladesh to the east becomes crucial. For India, Bangladesh can serve as a buffer and a strategic partner in countering any potential Chinese aggression in South Asia. On the other hand, Bangladesh, in the midst of its own industrialization and urbanization journey, stands to benefit greatly from India's economic power. As Bangladesh continues to grow and modernize, it will increasingly need reliable trade partners, technological support, and infrastructure investments. India, with its burgeoning economy and established industries, can act as both a protector and a partner in this regard, fostering a mutually beneficial relationship that strengthens both nations. Together, these two countries share significant geopolitical interests, from river management and climate resilience to regional security and economic integration. The path forward lies in collaboration, not conflict. And in doing so, they not only secure their futures, but also contribute to regional stability and prosperity. Despite their religious differences, India, a Hindu-majority nation, and Bangladesh, a Muslim-majority country, the reality is that they have far more in common than what divides them. These differences can, and should, be seen as strengths that enrich both societies. After all, diversity is often the foundation of resilience. In an increasingly interconnected world, perhaps the ultimate vision for South Asia is one where borders gradually fade and nations collaborate in pursuit of shared prosperity. It's not far-fetched to imagine a future where India and Bangladesh, along with other South Asian countries, work together in a model similar to the European Union, creating a region marked by open borders, free trade, and collective peace. In conclusion, while challenges remain, the future holds immense promise. India and Bangladesh, two nations bound by history, culture, and geography, have the potential to transform South Asia into a beacon of peace and unity. Their differences, far from being obstacles, are what make the region unique and capable of achieving something greater than the sum of its parts.